Hi, and welcome to the Science Show. I'm Professor Lauren Dudley in the Higher Ground STEM Lab, when we are going to talk about density, mass divided by volume. So how much stuff do we have in a specific volume of liquid? And so for our first experiment, what we really want to be able to know is what is more dense than water and what is less dense than water. If something is more dense than water, has more mass per volume, it will sink to the bottom of my container. If it is less dense than water, it will have less mass per volume and therefore it will float on the top. I have ice, I have a piece of wood chip from my backyard, I have an eraser, a clip, and a paper clip. I want you to take a minute and I want us to create a hypothesis. Which of these do you think will be sinkers, more dense than water, and which will you think be floaters, be less dense than water? Take a minute. Let's go ahead and start. I have ice. Ice is really cold. It is water, it's just frozen water. It's a floater. Now what this means is that when ice is solid, it actually traps air bubbles within its volume. And we know that air is very, very light compared to water. And so that's why ice floats on the top. What about wood? Now wood can be really, really heavy sometimes, but what's interesting about wood is that it also is a floater. It has air trapped within all of those wood fibers. Now paper clips are pretty light, but they're made of metal, and metal is pretty dense. Its mass over the tiny little volume that we have makes it sink. What about a clip? Also a sinker. And the last one, an eraser. I don't know what to expect with this one. What'd you guess? Ooh. It's a sinker. Now, you can do this experiment too. Just grab a cup, a bowl, grab some things around your house, make sure you ask your parents first, and then go ahead and see what's less dense or more dense than water. Why is it that it's very easy to float in the ocean, but not as easy to float in a pool? They're both made of water, right? When you get into the ocean, you start to have other particles like sodium chloride, calcium chloride. And so what happens in the ocean water is that salt makes the solution more dense. Now I have just plain old table sugar, and I'm gonna get a variety of different concentrations. Now a concentration is just an amount of sugar in the water. We're gonna start and color code our solutions. Red will just be pure water. So we'll get one nice in there, stir it around. That's just gonna be pure water. Then, I'm gonna take 1 tablespoon, pop it in my water. Stir, 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 stir. And this, once the sugar dissolves, will be just like the salt water in the ocean. It'll be more dense than the original pure water. I'm gonna color code this one orange. Now we're gonna do the same exact thing for all of the other ones, but increase the amount of sugar that we have in the water. That way, with the increasing amount of sugar, we should increase the amount of mass in our volume of water and therefore increase the density. Now that we've made all of our solutions and we've color-coded them so that we know how much sugar is in each one, we're gonna do a little test and we're gonna be able to see, is the one with the most sugar the most dense? Now you can do this with any tall, skinny glass and any type of straw. I have a pipette here, but feel free to use a straw or a turkey baster, anything that you have that you can make sure you slowly pour in some of this solution. Let's go ahead and put in 2 squirts. And now we're gonna layer. slowly pour in the lighter solution, or the less dense, on top. Not yet. Uh-oh. You can start to see a little bit of blending of the colors, but we definitely see our lighter, less dense solutions are hanging out on top. And we're creating a beautiful rainbow. That is a beautiful rainbow. And that helps us look at all of the different densities that we just made and understand the more stuff we can pack into water, the more dense that water becomes. And things that are more dense sink to the bottom, things that are less dense float on the top. I'm Professor Lauren Deadly. I hope you try this at home. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Science Show here at the Higher Ground STEM Lab.